Hello folks, here we are in the sleepy little town of St.Marks, Florida. And this town is named after the St.Marks River. And of course, Florida means flowerland. So let's see if we can find anything around here, see what's going on around here. Well, here we are at a restaurant here at St.Marks. Let's go inside and see what's going on. Well, there's a waitress right there, and there's people eating here. Look at this place. And why?
What? Yeah, just two papers. Is that right? Two papers?
Well, look what we got here, folks. It's a boat. Can I get by? That's a boat. I wonder what boat that is. I think that's the Pinta, a replica of Columbus's boat. Wow. Well, one of Columbus's 3 ships there. It's just a replica. And this is the green
set of sail in.
Which means the
tied up.
That was the flag?
No, they didn't fly the American flag.
That's an American flag.
There's an American flag right there.
Oh, no, yeah, but I mean that first flag there.
There's a Spanish flag.
Is that the Spanish?
Right there. That's a Spanish
So
flag.
that's the right flag, right?
So anyways, we're going to go on this boat here and see what's happening
All the
here.
way back to Spain, by the way.
Now this is the kind of boat they were navigating in, sailing in 1492. And this was one of the boats that Columbus had when he sailed to the New World. And there are about 25 sailors on this boat. They lived on this boat, 25 of them. So, this is how they looked. Just replicas, of course, not the real boat. And we're going to go up here. Let's see what's upstairs here. Well, there's one of the sailors. Sailoresses. And this is where they sailed from. And this is the view they would have had. This is the view they would have had when they were sailing on this boat. Sailing the ocean blue in 1492. And this is what they would see. Of course, not this modern town here, but anyways, this is how the captain would sit up here. And of course, there's the mast right there. And this boat was about 50 feet long. And of course, there were a lot bigger boats in that day. The English were making boats 3 times that size, over 150 feet. Same with the Dutch. The Dutch had some huge warships going on. And so we're going to see what's back here. This is the back of the boat. And this is what the view they would have had from the back when they're leaving Spain. And here's the little town St.Marks. They even have a bohea here. Look at that. Hello, folks. How are you?
Hi.
How are you enjoying your view of the Pinta?
Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Mighty small to go to sea.
Can you imagine those sailors sailing in this boat?
That one particular.
25 of them on this one.
A lot of lines up there.
Yep, look at all those lines. Wind power. This is wind power, folks. They already learned how to harness the wind. Okay, here's some little models of ships, how they were built. And there's the Santa Maria, flagship right there. And this is flagship. And here's the ship store. See where they stored everything. So,
I'm hungry. Yeah. I'm hungry. Have you been over to the Pinta?
Of course, they had a little.
This one's the Pinta, this one's the Pinta. It's all from the staircase. Stairs. This one's
This is the Nina. This is the smallest of the ships. This was called the little girl. The little girl. So she had 24 sailors on this ship. So, can you imagine that? 24 Spanish and Italian
Apparently there's a place
sailors
in Spain where they say Columbus who was all Pinzón.
flying on this.
Two brothers, the
Sailing on
captains
this
of the Nina
ship.
and the Pinta. Vicente Yanez Pinzón and his brother Martin Alonso Pinzón. And Martin left Columbus in the Caribbean apparently. Headed back to Spain, and Columbus beat him back to Spain.
So are you the captain?
First mate.
The first mate. So are you the captain?
No, sir.
Or
Yeah, both ships draw about
are you
7
one of
feet.
the crew members?
Yes, I'm a deckhand.
You're a deckhand.
And then
But they didn't have any young ladies on the
No, they didn't.
ship.
Women were bad luck back then.
No, they were just a distraction, like they always are. You know, guys can't get anything done when they start looking at the young ladies. You know. Oh, let me get back to my filming of this great adventure here. So this is the first mate on the Pinta or the Nina?
La Nina.
La Nina. So how long does it take to sail from the Atlantic to the Pacific?
The Atlantic?
Yeah.
The crossing?
Yeah.
Took them 33 days. Yeah.
33 days. So what can you tell me about La Nina?
Well, this Nina was built down in Valença, Bahia, Brazil from 1988 to 1991. It was handcrafted, so right down to her construction, she's considered the most accurate representation of the Nina on the planet, and the only one that still sails. We move with a crew today of about 6 or 7 people. Columbus would have had 24 men on the Nina 500 years ago.
So do you enjoy sailing?
Oh, I love it, yeah. Can't beat it. Travel and meeting people. I made friends that I'll know for the rest of my life, for sure.
So how did you get interested in this?
Well, I took a tour. It looked like something adventurous that I wanted to do, and so I did it. I signed up for 6 weeks, and that was almost 2 years ago.
So where do you all sleep?
We sleep down in the cargo hold today, where Columbus would have kept all of his wine and animals.
So this is a cargo hold.
Right, but the men back then had to sleep on the deck.
They had to sleep on the deck.
Yeah, that's exposed to the elements. It was not a luxury cruise by any means.
So, is it true that there was little sabotage when they first started out?
Yeah, apparently the Pinta had some problems with her gudgeon. That's what holds the rudder to the ship. And Columbus believed that a couple of the men were actually trying to sabotage the voyage so they didn't have to go.
Really?
Yeah. So they spent a month in the Canary Islands repairing Pinta's gudgeon and square rigging the vessel, putting big square sails like you see represented here on the main and the foremast. And then they set sail across the Atlantic.
How many days was that again?
33 days. They were going to mutiny 31 days into the voyage. They said, hey, Columbus, there's nothing out here. Let's turn around and go back to Spain. Obviously, he refused and offered a reward, an annuity to the men. The first man to see land will get money for the rest of his life. 2 days later, he got lucky. A man aboard the Pinta named Rodrigo de Triana spotted land on the morning of October 12th, 1492 at about 2 a.m. But Columbus would keep the reward, claiming that he'd seen a light on the horizon, like a little wax candle bobbing up and down, maybe a torch moving from hut to hut, something like that. So Columbus claimed he saw land first. So Rodrigo de Triana never got his annuity.
Well, you think they'd give it to him now?
I'm not sure about that.
Spanish government give his relatives?
Columbus was eventually stripped of all his titles and did not get the money that was agreed upon. He was guaranteed 10% of all the wealth that he would acquire from the islands that the crown would acquire. And he would never see that money.
So the Spanish government ripped him off?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And he ripped somebody off.
Yeah, there's a lot of ripping off going on.
What goes around comes around, huh?
Yeah.
So You know, I really like reading about Columbus. He was quite a navigator. I know some people don't think much of his personality, but do you do any reading about him?
Yeah, no, I read about him a lot. I think it's hard to say exactly who the man was. Obviously, people like him, some people don't like him. But 500 years ago, times were tough. Name me a time in human history where people treated each other kindly, and maybe we'll have an argument here.
Do you think we'll ever advance beyond being mean and ripping people off?
Not in my lifetime, good sir.
Well, then you just keep sailing them.
I've been.
Gus is going to tell us what happened after they discovered the Bahamas. So, anyways, all the ships didn't make it back to Spain.
Right. On Christmas Eve, 1492, the Santa Maria ran aground off of Haiti, and Columbus saw this as a sign from God that he should build a fort in Haiti, and he would call the fort Navidad, which basically means Christmas because it was Christmas Eve. So they leave 40 men, 39 to 40 guys behind on the island of Hispaniola. Columbus jumps aboard the Nina here to get back to Spain. The Pinta apparently had already taken off without Columbus. Martin Alonso Pinzon was going for God, gold, and glory all himself. But Columbus beats Pinzon back to Spain.
In this little ship here?
Yes, on the Nina, right. He sees, when Pinzon returns back to Spain, he sees the Nina already at anchor and realizes Columbus beat him back. Within a couple of days, Pinzon dies. The voyage back was probably pretty brutal. Columbus pulled into Portugal on his way back, maybe to show off a little bit, but they say there was a big storm, and they couldn't believe that anyone could even survive the storm, and here's Columbus coming back from a transatlantic voyage, right?
Yeah.
But he could have been arrested, but he tells the Portuguese, I did find new lands, and I'm going back to Spain, so they let him go, where he would tell King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella what he had found.
So how big was Columbus's crew?
There were 90 men altogether. They say there were 24 on the Nina, 26 on the Pinta, and 40 souls aboard the Santa Maria.
So there were over 100 sailors on this ship to get back to Spain?
Eventually, on the second voyage, when he took 17 ships.
His ship sunk, right?
Yeah, but they leave 40 men behind.
Oh, 40 men behind. So how many were on the ship on the return voyage?
Probably 24, 25. 25 with Columbus being aboard the Nina then.
And then what happened to the rest?
Well, then the men that were left there on the second voyage, once Columbus returns, he finds corpses that were burnt. They had facial hair, and they knew they were Spanish men because the natives didn't have any facial hair. So they question the chief of the Taino tribe, who says no, that the Caribs came from another island and started war with the Spanish. We tried to help. And I got scarred in battle, and he's wearing a bandage. So the Spanish remove the bandage, and they find out that there's nothing there, and that he was lying. But Columbus does not retaliate, which really infuriates the Spanish men. You got to keep in mind, Columbus was not Spanish. They were saying, these are our families, these are our men.
They ate them, didn't they?
Well, yeah, the Caribs were known for cannibalism.
So they ate the poor Spaniards.
Maybe, yeah. They had some pretty weird things going on for the native peoples of
So that kind of turned Columbus's mind away from the Indian and towards the native, right? He kind of, after that, he didn't
I think,
have
yeah,
an opinion of them. Right?
Yeah, he probably had, was very suspicious.
Yeah.
But, you know, they would continue on as normal, colonizing. He would appoint his brothers as governors of the islands that he would find. He would continue to explore, looking for that trade route to Asia. He thought he was on the outskirts of India, China, Japan the whole time. He would never realize the magnitude of his discoveries. He couldn't wrap his head around a whole new continent.
Well, thanks, Gus. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, really?
Well, folks, here's the St.Marks River. And there's some fishermen. And they're taking pictures of the Nina and La Pinta. So there's the St.Marks.
That's how they do it. They see watch the boat from outside like those guys. That's the one we should have. Right? Okay, let's get going. What time is it, John?
It's around time to go. Emma! Yes, let me take a picture of these crazy kids.
Cute, that's a nice one. Okay, prepare.
Hold on one more second, let me get a picture.
Maybe take that way and see all the cords and stuff. Come on. Go, the ladies want to take a picture of us. Come on, Ed.
So folks, here we are. Now we're leaving.
I can't wait.
There's an interesting story there. A lot of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these boats. And of course, crew on.
That is a good picture. It's one of the best pictures. So you want to fly? Yeah, come on. Let's get going, man.
So folks, this is the line. People want to see the Nina and the Pinta. So, a little education there.
Yeah.